Hey guys, I'm Becky from BBReviews, and welcome to my review of Technically You Started It by Lana Johnson. This book was so graciously sent to me by Scholastic. Thank you so much for sending me this for review. In this book, we have a character named Haley who is getting text from a boy named Martin Nathaniel Monroe II. Now, you would think that if somebody texts you who has that name, you would know exactly who it is, but there are two boys that Haley goes to school with that have the exact same name, and they are cousins. One Haley really likes, and the other one Haley does not like at all. She thinks she knows which one she is talking to, but it turns out that it is not the right one she is talking to, and we go through all of the hijinks of Haley finding out that you cannot judge somebody until you get to know them. Now, I personally love books where we have a mistaken identity or some sort of secret reveal of who you've actually fallen in love with. So I was immediately attracted to this book, but what also really grabbed my interest is that the entire thing is told in text. Now, I have read a book a long time ago that was told through instant message. I've also read another book, I believe on Wattpad, that was told through text, but I think that there was some prose mixed in and we had some alternating chapters between the two characters. But to read one that is told only through text between only two people, I was a little leery of. Now, I actually did really enjoy it. I got through this all in one sitting, and it was fun to read it all through text. I do think that it would have been a little bit beneficial if we would have either gotten text from other characters as well to kind of get like their perspectives and their conversations just to get the full story of everything, or if it would have had some prose mixed in. But overall, I do think that you understand everything that's going on just through text. Now, like I said, we do have our two and only kind of main characters, which is Haley and Martin. And to be honest, I was pretty thrown off by these characters. I figured this was like your run-of-the-mill book where we had this boy that Haley thinks is a jerk and popular, but it turns out he is like really sweet. But that's not exactly what happens. So we do have Haley. She is pretty popular, but she doesn't feel like anybody understands her. And then we have Martin, who everyone thinks is this popular, rich, bad boy, but really he is like kind of a geek. I will say that it did throw me off. It wasn't what I was expecting going into it, but it was a really refreshing idea to do it where the people that we think we know are totally different from what everyone thinks, and I did end up really enjoying it. So since this book is a romance, let's go ahead and just jump into those romancy bits. One thing I do want to point out, which I really, really loved, is that we do have some LGBTQ plus reps in here, and they are not the ones that you normally see. Martin tells Haley that he is actually bisexual, and then we have Haley who is struggling to understand what her sexual identity is. On one hand, Haley thinks that she may be asexual or maybe even aromantic. From what I understand, asexual is somebody who has no sexual desires for somebody, and aromantic is where you don't have romantic feelings for anybody, but you still have sexual desires. Haley doesn't feel like either of those really kind of fit her, and I don't think it's ever said in the book, but I believe what Haley actually is possibly demisexual. Now, demisexual is one that I don't have a whole lot of experience with, but from what I can understand from the Googles is that it is somebody who cannot have romantic or I believe possibly even sexual feelings towards somebody until they really get to know them and know that those feelings are reciprocated first. Again, I don't believe it is ever explicitly said in this book that that is what Haley is. That is just what I am coming to understand from what she has described. Now, I really, really love that we do have these reps in here because these are ones that you don't ever hear about. We always hear about gay or lesbian relationships, but it's very rare to actually see anybody else on the sexual spectrum represented. What I also really loved is that it is not a big deal. There is no coming out. There is no giant crisis. For Haley, she's trying to figure it out, but she's really not stressed about it. And when Martin tells her that he is bisexual, it's not a big deal. He kind of thinks that he might have scared her off by it, but she tells him no, it's totally fine. And I just love that is what is represented in this book, because it's not a big deal and people make such big deals about it. We say that we're totally cool with it, but then we still have books where there is a coming out crisis, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I feel like the way that society is moving towards, it really isn't a big deal anymore, especially for the younger generations. So when we have a book about today's teens, it really should be represented in a way where nobody cares or makes a big deal about what you are. Now, in terms of Haley and Martin's romance, it is a really cute and sweet romance. It is not over-sexualized. I felt like I was smiling the whole time while reading this. It was just adorable. If you are somebody who's definitely looking for a clean romance, this is definitely the book for you. Now, like I said, I did read this book all in one sitting, and when it came to the ending, I felt a little bit underwhelmed. For one, there's not an easy way to wrap up a book that is told only through text. I definitely saw the challenge there, and that's not what kind of irked me with the ending of this book. There's no way for me to tell you what has bothered me without spoiling the ending. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I would suggest going ahead and turning off this video now, but it's really not like that big of a spoiler, but I will let you go ahead and turn off now. So for those of you who have stuck with me, what ends up happening is that Haley and Martin end up sharing a kiss. And the way that it's done in the book is that they are hanging out and Martin texts her and tells her to put down her phone so that he can kiss her. And that is very sweet and clean and totally fine. But what kind of bothered me a little bit is that throughout this book, we have Haley who is trying to understand what her sexual identity is, and she feels alone, and she feels like nobody understands her, and she feels like her friends judge her, and that she's forever going to be alone because nobody understands what she's going through. So I felt like for the ending to be where Martin tells her to put down her phone and kiss him, I don't think that Haley would have been okay with that. I mean, maybe she would have. Maybe that there would be some kind of discussion once she put down the phone and they had a discussion face to face. But I just felt like this whole book was about understanding what each other want in a relationship, and for Haley trying to understand what is quote unquote wrong with her. And for the ending to be a kiss that is not brought up by Haley, I just felt like, wait a minute, I don't think Haley would have kissed him, or I think that there would be some kind of conversation about it first. It was really, really cute. I was loving it all the way through until that very ending where I was just like, I don't feel like that is what Haley would have wanted, but at the same time, I have no idea. I definitely think that is a very personal opinion for this book. I think it could be interpreted a lot of different ways, and I definitely don't think that that is a fault of the book or the author, but for me personally, what I was understanding from Haley, the ending just didn't sit right with me. So overall, I ended up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really cute, really sweet. I do think though that it lacked just a little bit because it was all told through text, but I definitely don't think that we lose a lot by it being in this medium. So it's a very mixed thing for me. On one hand, I don't think that we lost anything by it being told through text, but I think we would have gained a lot more if it was in prose. This book comes out today, June 25th, so be sure to head out to your local bookstore and grab a copy for yourself. Alright guys, that is everything that I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you loved it and you want to see more bookish content from me, please hit that subscription button. And if you want to be notified as soon as my videos go live here on YouTube, hit the notification bell. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!